Thank you for joining us today. We have a very exciting topic to cover, and I know the majority of our resellers have been waiting for this product for a long time. Microsoft 365 from GoDaddy will be available for resellers to offer to their customers in October. Before I introduce everyone else on the webinar and jump into our main topic for today, I have a couple things to cover. First is a big thank you to all that participated in the survey that we posted in the rodeo community regarding the naming of Microsoft 365. Although we weren't able to choose the preferred name due to legal reasons, we sincerely appreciate all of the comments and insight we gained from your feedback. And for those of you that haven't checked out the rodeo community yet, I invite you to hop on there because you can interact with fellow resellers. And Andy from our team here at GoDaddy regularly monitors the community, so feel free to add questions or comments on there for us. And if you aren't sure to where to find the rodeo, I'll post a link in the comment section once this webinar recording gets uploaded to our YouTube channel. Next, in case you missed it, Managed SSL went live for resellers last week. So head to your RCC to price it out. And if you want to learn more about the product, check out the webinar we did last month. You can find the webinar posted on our YouTube channel as well as in your reseller resource portal under webinars. All right, let's move into our main topic, Microsoft 365 from GoDaddy. I want to introduce the speakers on our webinar today. First, we have our partner marketing lead from Microsoft, Julia, to talk about our partnership and why it's so important. Next, we have Kelsey from GoDaddy's product marketing team to dive into product details. And then last but not least, Chelsea from the product management team will run through instructions to opt in to sell Microsoft 365. A quick reminder before we get started, if you have questions, please enter them in the Q&A section. I see some of you guys are already chatting in there, so I'll once everyone starts talking, I will go in and monitor the chat. And then we'll wait until the presentation is over to address all of those questions. Like I said, I'll be monitoring the Q&A, but all presenters will also be monitoring and we'll answer the questions that are pertinent to them. And if there's a question that we're unable to answer during the webinar, we may address it at a later webinar or in the community. And then also a reminder that this webinar will be recorded and posted to our YouTube channel, as well as the resource portal. So if you need to drop, no worries, you can find the recording later. So without further ado, I will pass it over to Julia to get started.
Thank you, Alexa. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining this reseller webinar. I'm very excited to be on with you. As Alexa mentioned, I'm Julia North. I'm the partner marketing lead with Microsoft. And I've had the privilege, and I continue to have the privilege, to work with the GoDaddy team on all things Microsoft 365. So this is exceptionally exciting for me. It's been some time coming. GoDaddy is one of our top strategic Microsoft, which is what we shorten it to, 365 partners. And I've been supporting them as they've been working to get everything in place to share this exciting opportunity with you. I'm really looking forward to walking this new sales journey with you all and the GoDaddy team, and I will definitely be doing that. And I think right now is such a critical time that I'm glad that we're able to land it at this time. Cloud resources and access to remote tools like Microsoft 365 is more critical than ever. Who would have ever guessed that, I don't know how many months ago, we would all be quarantined amid a pandemic that doesn't seem to go away. Well, I'll tell you that we've seen Microsoft 365 and Teams just explode because of that. By 2021, it's estimated that 60% of SMBs worldwide will have a mobile support in place or a mobile worker in place if they don't already. An average of 52% of the global workforce works from home at least once per week anyways. And in all honesty, Microsoft has really made some bold predictions, as well as other agencies and organizations, to say that we will probably see this as a fundamental change in remote working. 6 times as many small businesses agree that dynamic team structures will become the norm. And that's kind of, I think, that acceptance. And what's funny is that study was done a few years ago. they were already projecting that. And then to see it come to fruition with COVID-19 has just been amazing. And so Microsoft 365 is one of those amazing tools, no matter what SKU you use, that is really enables that collaborative remote work from wherever you're at. With that, I'm going to pass it off to Kelsey to take you started into the details.
Thanks, Julia. Hi, everyone. I'm going to walk you through the professional email and Microsoft Office 365 plans that will be available for you and your customers. I've segmented them in color so that you guys can easily identify the differences. We're going to start here to the left and focus on email essentials. So this is the professional email that is hooked up to your customer's domain, which will provide them 10 gigabytes of storage. That's dedicated storage for their email, contacts, and calendar. And the benefits of Exchange is that it syncs across all the devices and allows the calendars to be shared. So moving into Email Plus, it's the same features functionality, except for you get higher storage amount at 50 gigabytes of storage. And then we move into Online Essentials. So you're getting all the same benefits of Email Plus, so the professional domain-based email, plus you're getting the added benefit of Microsoft 365 Office web apps. So this is all the Excel, Word, PowerPoint online apps available for your customers to work in the cloud. It also comes with 1 terabyte of online storage, and it comes out with the Teams SKU, which is what Julia was mentioning around unlimited like online meetings, video, and conferencing, as well as sharing documents across employees or vendors, customers, whatever your customers' needs might be. And then we move to the top tier, which we call Business Premium. This is the same as Office Essentials, but now it is including the familiar desktop apps that we have for Office 365. So again, Word, PowerPoint, all those familiar apps on your desktop, but you can install them up to 5 devices. So this is great feature functionality for that remote worker that might have to be in the office, but then go out into the field and look at estimates, for example, on their iPad, but it's all in the cloud, and everything is up to date. Any changes made maybe in the office and then out in the field are all synced. So those are the plans that will be available and the feature sets. Now I'm going to dive into sharing a little bit of the audience insights that we have discovered at GoDaddy that you can think about for your own customers and what's right for them, and just kind of sharing these insights with you guys so that you can be successful in selling. We've broken it into a professional email insights and versus like the Office 365. As you see, the lineups are a little different. And so the people that need those lineups are a little bit different, but let me walk you through it. So for professional email, it's all about looking professional. That benefit is the higher benefit, but that kind of breaks down in different categories for customers. It can look at like building their brand is important, but how do they build their brand? They look professional with every email that includes their business name in it. Also creating that distinct identity. I've made it. This is my business, and sharing that with the world through professional email. As well as we know, unfortunately with COVID, and of course prior to COVID, there's been people that try to hack into email and spam it. So it's establishing that legitimacy of their business, that they really are a business and can be trusted. Those all ladder up to being that overarching looking professional benefit. So other benefits, and I've already kind of touched on it, is that with Exchange email, that the thought is you're going to get less spam. We have high security spam filters, etc., for Exchange. So when you're thinking about that from your customer's perspective, who are using like a Gmail account or a free email account, that they already automatically start thinking, well, gosh, professional email, I won't have to deal with all these spam attacks that I get from this prescription or that. And then also the the benefit of just separating and being organized their business email versus their personal email. And other customers of when going into research have mentioned this as well, that if they're a business with employees, then if they have free accounts and they give it to their employee when their employee might leave, or all those interactions, they can't get back. Like, that leaves with the employee. So there's that benefit around professional email and exchange email all being available, because with the GoDaddy Microsoft professional email, if a customer does leave and if your customer's employee leaves, you do have the ability to repurpose that mailbox. So the customer can push it to the next hire that they have. Going into Microsoft 365, these benefits are going to be more more focused on businesses that are established and they want to grow, and they understand that value of being professional and wanting to simplify and be more efficient with their business. They're typically kind of wearing a lot of hats and doing a lot of time working on their business, but the administrative tasks, etc. So it really resonates. This product really resonates with them by streamlining all those services in through one provider like yourself and GoDaddy. So that really resonates with the customers for those plans. And then I just wanted to highlight some of the barriers to purchase. The first bullet, I will say, probably not as relevant right now during our COVID times, but it was something that was a little bit of a sticking point for those retail shops that interact with their customers face to face. So this is probably going to be, as Julia mentioned prior, that a different time will probably need more of that online interaction instead of in the stores. And then also there's a barrier around it's the free email, and sometimes the customers don't realize that, well, my business name is in my email, but technically it's still a free email. And so they kind of have this rationalization of, well, I still have my business name, that's good enough. It still works, it's fine. So that's just one of those barriers, gotchas to watch out if you have specific, customers, clients that fit into that niche. The other one is they just don't realize that GoDaddy offers email or Office. That's just not something that comes across. They're maybe focused on domains or websites, and it's just that unknown factor. And then another thing that I've heard come up just recently, coming through research, is they understand the benefits of professional email, but they haven't the time, or they have the intent to set it up, but they just don't know how to. So this is really interesting when you think about your customers or clients that, how busy are they? And probably most of you will set it up for them. So this might not be a barrier, but we are finding it that they just can't, they would have to go research it. And of course they don't have time because they're busy getting their business set up. So that was just an interesting insight we just pulled out. And then the last but not least, specifically to our Microsoft Office 365 product lineup, is that a lot of customers will say, well, I already have Microsoft Office. It came with my computer, right? And that's good and fine. But as we go to the next slide, I'll explain kind of the benefits of Office 365 versus when you get it on your computer, it's a little bit different. So why don't we just go there? Awesome. So this is how we at GoDaddy position it, and think it might be helpful for you guys and your customers. So again, keeping in the lanes of a professional email versus Microsoft Office 365. I just added in the SKUs product names in there for you for reference. Again, the value prop is all about looking professional. We're hearing a lot of the establishing legitimacy and credibility with customers right now, especially during these times, is really resonating with them. And so how we do that is looking professional is that your email address matches either their domain or a website if they have website. So that's a simple explanation of how that makes it work. And I would say on this first RTB, The more you can do in your marketing effort to actually kind of show what that would look like. So in this example of me at mybusiness.com, we've noticed has been really effective in our marketing. So it just helps kind of visualize what that really means for those customers. For Microsoft Office 365, again, this is going to be more around that focus of simplification, that all-in-one solution that is designed to simplify and promote all the things that a small business wants: productivity, maybe teamwork with employees or customers or vendors, and then also with that security and mobility. Having it installed on 5 devices, making it available wherever you go, really helps resonate with them. And so our benefit is that you can get more done when you have this all-in-one solution from Microsoft Office 365. The RTBs that are resonating and coming to the top, I think, again, with a little bit of this COVID influence, is like being online. Hey, sharing documents, being able to create, edit, store, and securely share them online is a great functionality and really resonating for people. And this second one is always having the up-to-date versions of Microsoft Office. This is where if you bought your computer, from Best Buy and it came loaded, it's not always going to be up to date. So the benefit of our Office 365 is that it is going to be up to date with the latest versions. And of course, Microsoft and the team are always, optimizing and making new suggestion tooltips within the product that can value that small business. They also have small business apps specifically that might be interesting for particular businesses. So that's kind of the important benefit for that, having that all up to date. And then again, the Office 365 bundled with that email that matches your domain or website, all from one provider, is clearly one of those big aha moments for customers. Next, we are going to go to Chelsea.
That's good. Thanks so much. So for those, there are a lot of questions coming in around where do you get to the opt-in page? So what you can do, go to the Reseller Control Center, and under products, there is email and productivity. When you click on that, there is listed at the bottom of the list, it's the newest one, it'll say Microsoft 365, and it'll have a link that says view details, and you will get to this page. Review all the information here to learn about the product. There's a link to the reseller agreement and stuff, items that pertain directly to this offering. And as you can see, you can get into information about prices, about what is included, how it interacts with other offerings and everything there. So be sure to review it. The opt-in, you currently can't opt in. That is going to be coming soon. We're working through items right now to enable that for you. And I believe that Alexa has a few last items to review before we move into Q&A.
Yeah, thanks, Chelsea. So once you opt in to sell Microsoft 365, please note that there are restrictions that pertain to how you can present Microsoft 365 plans on your storefront page, especially if you create a custom storefront page. Please read through the updated reseller agreement linked at the top of the opt-in page to be sure you understand the restrictions, because they are different from other GoDaddy reseller offerings. Another place you can find important info on how the product differs from others we've offered in the past is right below the opt-in button. Here you can find a drop-down menu that tells you things like where your customer will see GoDaddy branding in their Microsoft 365 experience, and that pricing for resellers is fixed. Everything is clearly stated within the opt-in page, so definitely head there to get all the necessary details. And we will be sure to include a link to the opt-in page, if you haven't found it yet, in the description of the webinar once it gets published. All right. So moving on to my last bit of exciting news for the webinar, we will be running a special incentive program for a handful of resellers. In order to become eligible to be chosen to participate in our new incentive program for Microsoft 365, all you need to do is opt in to sell by October 8th. So I know that, you know, if you go in and try and opt in right now, you're getting a spinny button or something like that. But Chelsea's team is working to make that live for you. So just be sure to check it again before October 8th. And the resellers that are picked for the incentive program will be contacted the week of October 12th by phone and email with all the details for the program. And now I'm going to open up the floor for Q&A. I know I've seen a bunch of questions fly through in the chat. Go ahead, and if you did ask a question in the chat, move it over to the Q&A section so that we can answer each question individually. I'll read through some of there's 2 answered questions that have come through so far, so I'll just read those in case you guys can't see them or haven't checked the Q&A section. And then if there's a question we're unable to answer during the webinar, we may address it during a later webinar or in the community. So one of the questions was from Jeff. He asked from the opt-in page, there's a quote, if your customer is in the US, UK, Canada, or Australia market, Microsoft 365 will become the only available email offering. So he was asking, if we don't opt in, can we continue to sell Workspace email? And Chelsea responded, yes, you will continue to sell Workspace if you don't opt into Microsoft 365.
I have more to add to that, Alexa, too.
Oh, yeah. Do you want to add it? Because I think we're probably going to say the same thing. So go ahead.
Okay, so and for those like reading that first part about the customer being in US, UK, Canada, or Australia, on our standard storefront, the under email, it'd be Microsoft 365. If you opt into it, becomes the only option available if your customer is shopping from one of those markets. The Workspace email is still an offering in all other markets. If you don't opt in, nothing's going to change for you. You're still going to be able to sell Workspace email. Alexa, was it the same, or did you have more to add?
That was it. Yeah, no, that was all that I was going to add. Okay, and then, oh, and one other thing, I don't think you added this in. If your customer already has a Workspace email and you opt in to sell Microsoft 365, your customer's product with Workspace will be unaffected. They can either continue using that product, they can renew it, or they can opt in to transfer over to Microsoft 365 and they can buy that new product instead. Okay, and then another question that came through in the chat, does Microsoft have certification training for 365? And Angela answered that they do have some, and then she posted a link to the intro level certification. We can definitely post that link in the community and in the comment section when we get the video published as well. Julia from Microsoft did drop off of the webinar, so she's not here for Q&A. I'm sure she would have a great answer for that, but I think Angela did a good job of answering as well. Okay, so now I'm going to go through some of the unanswered questions, and then hopefully Chelsea and Angela and Kelsey can help me answer these. So first one is, I'm interested in knowing how the Office 365 differs from unlimited email account that we currently use for webmail. Is Microsoft Access included? How much disk space is included with Office 365? How many email accounts do they get with Office 365? And how will clients migrate their emails from unlimited to 365?
Kelsey, do you want to take a swat at this, or? Not anymore. Oh, there you go.
Sorry, I'm just reading it again.
It's kind of a loaded question. You might need to break it down.
Yeah, there's quite a few questions in here. Let me see. How many email accounts do they get with Office 365? So they get 400 email aliases, which are, accounts are a little bit different. Aliases are like, you can create info at, Kelsey'sCupcakes.com or sales at Kelsey'sCupcakes.com. .com, and they all go into one inbox, where I think this question is more around like separate email accounts, so that would be a separate, like each individual mailbox with its own passwords, etc. That would be an individual purchase. But within each mailbox, you get 400 aliases. Hopefully that makes sense. How will clients migrate their emails from Unlimited 365? We currently do not have that available, I don't believe. Chelsea?
Yes, migration is not yet available. There's some issues that we need to work through there before it is. So we'll be sure to be making an announcement when it does become available. It is certainly on our plans, but it is not available right now. So there is no migration path. So just keeping that in mind, but we'll hopefully have that migration available for you soon.
All right, so I think that question is answered. So if you have any follow-ups, Ken, then go ahead and just type them in. I'm gonna say that one is answered. So someone asked, will current Workspace email customers be migrated over, or will they become legacy? So I think we did answer that. Currently, we do not have a migration plan. Oh.
And I'm only jumping in because there's a couple questions around this, like end of life retiring workspace and stuff. So I just want to kind of expand on it a little bit more. So I know that GoDaddy does have efforts on moving customers, their own customers, to Microsoft 365. Now we know with the restrictions on Microsoft 365, it's not going to fit everybody's business model. It's up to you if you want to sell Microsoft 365 or not. So your customers that are on Workspace will not be automatically migrated or anything like that. That's not in the plans right now. We are working to figure out when we do want to do work on Workspace end of life. We want to have a fully white labeled email option for you. So right now it's, we don't even have plans on end of life in Workspace for your customers. We have a lot more questions that have to happen before that. So migration or becoming legacy, it's not even a question right now, or like we don't have plans on that right now. Hopefully that answers everybody's questions on that.
Yeah, as they come up, I'll just answer them as, or I'll just click on them as answered. So I'm gonna move on to the next one. Is it possible to migrate users from Microsoft's Office 365 to GoDaddy's Office 365? I think that falls under the same migration question. So while we can't migrate, and Chelsea, maybe you can confirm that we cannot do any sort of migrations right now, correct?
Right. That's not a question for me, sorry. Kelsey or anybody,
Kelsey?
Anybody else. It's not something on the Reseller platform. But I would expect that Microsoft wouldn't allow people to be having purchased from Microsoft to be moved to one of their resellers. It doesn't sound like a smart business choice to do that, but I have no idea. Kelsey, does GoDaddy?
Yes, GoDaddy does.
Oh, okay.
Yes, GoDaddy does.
But again, migration isn't on reseller at all, so I wouldn't anticipate that's available if they're with Microsoft right now.
Yep.
Okay. Great. Another question about GoDaddy retiring Workspace. So I'm gonna go ahead and click that one as checked. Okay, the new reseller agreement mentions super resellers. How do we get into this program? This seems like it might not be pertinent to Microsoft 365, but just a general question. Chelsea.
I'm sorry, I was on mute.
No.
So the super reseller program is extremely old, and it needs to go through a ton of changes in order for it to be helpful. It is not generally available if you want to get into that really old, outdated system, you have to go through screening, and basically it's only if you had it before that that it can be brought back to your account. So it is some resellers are still super resellers that are out there that have been around for a very long time, but generally we do not allow any more new super resellers. It's why it's in the legal agreement still, is because it is still around, but it's generally not available to get into the program as a brand new reseller.
All right, great, thanks. Next question is regarding billing. How will billing / integration work with our current white labeled customer backend?
Sure, I can take that one. So when your customer is going through the storefront experience, whether you have a custom storefront, if you're using our standard storefront, they're going to be seeing the Microsoft 365 from GoDaddy labels on your page or on their standard storefront page. When they get to the cart, that's going to be the same thing. It's going to say that as the product name, but the cart itself is still going to be branded with your branding. It's not going to say GoDaddy up in the upper left. It's not going to have GoDaddy's logo or colors. It's just going to say that as the product name. When your customer actually does the purchase, the credit card transaction is not going to show up on their statements as GoDaddy. It's still going to say domain services like it always does. All their emails, it's still going to have your reseller branding with the logo and your colors on the email. If it does talk about the product name is that Microsoft 365 from GoDaddy. So it's really only when the product name is referenced is the only time that is going to include GoDaddy. Otherwise, the rest of it is going to continue with your current white label.
Great. And again, all of that is written in the opt-in page in those drop-down menus. So if you want to revisit the verbiage, you certainly can there. Do resellers get our own free version of Office 365?
So currently, not yet. This is something that needs to be, there's a lot of work that goes into it, and we also want to make sure that it is the best option to give you. If you are not selling Office 365, then you probably want to see the products that you are selling to your customers rather than a product that you are not wanting to sell to your customers. So the whole point about that free version is so you can experience what your customers are experiencing. So there's still a bit of work that needs to be ironed out there. We'll let you know if and when a free version for that is included in the purchase of reseller is available.
Okay, Ken asked a couple questions here.
I can answer that.
There are 400 email aliases. Will they have actual different email accounts that have a username and password for each account? I think Kelsey already answered that, and she said same login for the email aliases, correct?
Right. The aliases will be set up in your email account. So it's the same login, password, whatever you're using for your email account, and then all your aliases will be in there in the inbox.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then Chelsea answered that question if resellers get their own free version. And then he asked another question, can we sell both Workspace and Microsoft 365?
So yes, you can. But in those markets, US, UK, Canada, and Australia, on your storefront, it should only be Microsoft 365. But like you are if a customer is outside of those and they're buying something new, they're going to see both options on the storefront.
Okay. Someone asked how do they do that transfer? Do we facilitate that, or is that an automated email they receive? That one, I think it's missing a little bit of information. How do they do what?
I did look it up, and it looks like it may be in regard to current workspace email being migrated
Mm-hmm.
and become legacy. That we don't have plans on doing that. We don't have set steps that I could go through with you on how that happens. Generally, we try to make it where you as a reseller, you have the opportunity to reach out to your customers to help facilitate a change in the product. But we do make it where your customer can do it themselves if their information is on the account. So generally that's what it is, but again, right now we have no plans on migrating any current customers. We have no plans of end-of-lifing workspace.
All right, someone asked, can we see the GoDaddy Microsoft involvement agreement before we opt in?
So I did just type in an answer that it is going to be like your end customer when they are purchasing the product. They are going to see the Microsoft Office terms of use, and it's the exact same one that is on GoDaddy's site. So it's going to include all that same information that's there that you can go check out and see what they're going to be seeing. There is going to also be like GoDaddy UTAS on there, because the UTAS that's currently on your storefront that is all private labeled. To fulfill the requirements from Microsoft, we do need to have the UTAS from GoDaddy as well. Mm-hmm. So take a look at GoDaddy's legal agreements and you'll see the Microsoft Office terms of use there that you can review.
Great, thanks for posting that.
Yep.
Jeff asked, is opting in reversible? Can we opt out / revert to workspace email?
Yes, you can. The way to do that is by calling our care team, and call out too is to call the reseller owner support line. Since those guys, they know reseller forwards and backwards, they're going to be able to help you out the best. That number is listed on your dashboard in the reseller control center. But yes, they'll be able to opt you out.
Will it be available in the UK and Europe?
Yes, it will be available.
I didn't hear an answer if Microsoft Access is included in Microsoft 365. Kelsey, this might be one for you.
I'm going to have to check on that.
Okay, sounds good. We'll get back to you. You mentioned white label. Is there a plan to allow us to remove the GoDaddy branding from this in the future? It eliminates the white label. How do we market this as a partnership with Microsoft through GoDaddy? Our customers will figure out that other items are probably GoDaddy too then.
Yes, so this is a very unique offering. We've never had a product have from GoDaddy in the product name before, so we understand that there's concerns and that it may not work for your business. But right now, the agreement we have with Microsoft, it insists that it must say from GoDaddy. So we don't have the opportunity to remove it at this time. I understand that it does eliminate the white label. So it is, that is why we have this very unique opt-in flow of it is up to you if you want to sell it. If you do not opt in, our care agents cannot sell it to your customers. It doesn't show up in cross-sells, nothing. So that's why it's your business decision if you want to still sell it or not.
Then the next person, I hope Resellers Office 365 is exactly the same as Microsoft's offering without any limitations. Can you confirm?
That's pretty broad. I would say it is exactly the same, but there's differences in the sense of our setup and the way we provision the email is different from Microsoft. So that there's some differences. So that's a little bit vague. But I think in the spirit of just like, is it the same product as if you went to Microsoft's website and purchased as far as features and functionality? Yes. Except for like the setup and the admin panel.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Cool. Thanks, Kelsey. That was a very vague question. So if you, if the person that typed that, I think it was Cameron, if they want to type in a follow-up question, feel free to do that. All right. Another one, it looks like it might be for Kelsey again. Does the Microsoft bookings and customer management integrate with the website builder appointments? Seems like a very product.
Website build, like that's GoDaddy's website builder appointments, I believe, is what they're referring to there. I don't know off the top of my head, but because I'm not sure what website builder they're referring to, but I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
I would second that, Kelsey, too, is it doesn't.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
Okay. Can I just post a comment? Sorry, what was that?
I think I can take this next one. I
Okay.
think it's in reference to allowing to having resellers have their free 365 ads to their account. So if we are giving it to you free, you aren't actually seeing the full end-to-end purchase path that your customers are going to be subject to. Once the product is purchased and in the account, it shows up under My Products as underneath Email and Office, and it will just say like Email Essentials. When you go into the product, it's your branding on it. So it really doesn't give you any insight on what your customer is actually seeing. So it's why I made the call. If we held it up for when we have like free options and stuff, it would have been further down the line after we figure out all the migrations and all that stuff. So it's still why we don't have it there for you right now. But you can obviously when the product itself. So right now the opt-in is available for you to go opt into. But in October is when the product is going to be available to actually purchase. You can opt into it, purchase it, and see the whole flow, and you can do a refund really quickly there after. If you, and then obviously opt out of selling it if you wanted to, or continue selling it if you wanted to do that. You could also do the same thing on like domains price right. That it's going to be available to purchase there. That way you don't even have to do the opt-in on yourself first. You can see what it's going to be like on domains price right and then get a refund.
Great. Sounds like a good option to try it out. If customers have a current workspace email, will there be a transfer option? How and does it cost us or customers? So you guys already mentioned this before, but there is no transfer option as of right now. So that answers that. Will we be able to offer the personnel option of Office 365 annual pricing?
Actually, I'm not familiar with personnel option. Kelsey, is that something you know about?
I'm not sure what the personnel option of Office 365. If it's Teams, it's part of Office 365. I don't know if that's considered a personnel option. But whatever, the plans that I reviewed in the webinar are the options that you are able to offer. If you need something more specific, just let us know.
Mm-hmm. All right. If we opt in, are we able to market this without the from GoDaddy on advertisements? How do we sell this in terms of marketing? Are we allowed to state we have a partnership just for this product on our stores?
There is a part of the reseller agreement that's pertaining specifically to this, so be sure to review that. But in essence, you can't market this without the from GoDaddy. And even if you do, when the customer gets to the cart page, it's going to say from GoDaddy there anyway. So it's probably in your best interest to have it up front where you can explain it. And you can state, you've partnered with GoDaddy to bring this offering by Microsoft.
Perfect. Will Workspace email have two-step authentication? That's like a off-topic question, but Chelsea, do you know?
I have no idea. Kelsey, are you?
I don't know, but if I had to guess, I don't think so. I mean, yeah. I don't know.
Okay. All right. Exchange admin panel, which helps set up mail flow, rules, filters, etc., is somewhat missing earlier in the GoDaddy's Office 365. Not sure about it now. This is the reason an offering to resellers for their personal use to test it out will be useful. So like Chelsea said, you can go in, opt in, and then purchase and refund if you want to see what it looks like, or go on to domains price rate and purchase, and then if you don't want to pay for the product, you can refund. Chelsea, correct me if I'm wrong on that one.
That's exactly right. You can check that out. I know, Kelsey, do you have the experience from when GoDaddy first launched that perhaps it was missing some of those rules and filters and stuff, if they're there now? Maybe not.
I don't know.
Okay, well, so yeah, then you just say when it is launched, feel free to just buy it on G's price right, and then check it out, and then you can always get a refund then.
All right, and then I think, so this is referring back to that question regarding personnel use. I think he meant the home use option that is Microsoft's website, which is an annual package for a household, and he thinks it's $99 per year.
No, that is not available for offer. That's a different, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, cool. So that's all the questions in the Q&A. So if you have any more, please post them there. Should we scan through the chat and see if we can pull some questions? Just the most recent one. Just to be completely clear, if you opt in for Microsoft 365, will there be any other email products appearing in your storefront and be offered, or will Microsoft 365 replace all other email products?
Sure. So on your storefront, for a customer visiting your storefront and assuming you've opted in to sign Microsoft 365, your customer will see other email offerings unless they are in the US, UK, Canada, or Australia. If they are in one of those 4 markets, they will see only Microsoft 365. If you opt in and you have a customer with workspace that needs another unit of workspace or something, they can call into support, and our support team will be able to add it to their account for them. But on your storefront, if you opt into 365, if your customers in US, UK, Canada, and Australia, they will only see Microsoft 365. Any other market, they will see other offerings, professional email in India, workspace in all the different markets.
Great. Josh asked a couple questions. So he asked, is there a way to convert our customers who already have 365 to a license from us? So Kelsey, I think you answered this one and you said a quick answer of yes.
This is the one around if it's a Microsoft 365 product from their customer got that somewhere else, and then, but you want to sell that to your customer.
Yes.
Yes, they can keep all their data. And again, we would need to have the migration ability.
Mm-hmm.
But yes.
So in essence, I want to recap there. In order to do that, migrations need to be available. Right now on reseller, migrations are not available. So the answer there is actually no. When migrations come up, they are going to be able to go from Microsoft to your offering. Is that a good summary?
That is a good summary. I would say even further, we're probably going to focus on migrations of workspace to Office first. I don't know how far if we're going to get to an Office to Office, but.
Okay, he looks good with that answer. That was clear. So let's see. Another question came up in the Q&A. Following questions related to Microsoft offering without limitations. I guess it would be easier to answer GoDaddy's Office 365 is the exact product we'll be offering on reseller platform. GoDaddy's Office 365 is the exact product we'll be offering on reseller platform.
So there are add-ons that GoDaddy offers that are not available. But Kelsey, do you want to answer to the products itself, like the plans themselves?
Yeah, the plan themselves are the exact plans that Microsoft offers. So the features, functionality, however, the way that we provision or the customers, like through the reseller channel or reseller platform, like the way we provision the email is a GoDaddy provisioning system. So that's different from Microsoft, as well as the admin control center is different from Microsoft.
Looks like they're asking though, like the product that GoDaddy sells, the Microsoft 365 GoDaddy sells.
Okay.
It is the same product that is offered on reseller.
Correct.
It's going to be offered on reseller here.
Correct.
Outside of the add-ons.
Correct. And add-ons meaning that, you know, the people pay for those, but yes.
Yep, exactly. Those are not available on reseller at this time. There's like a backup, migrations, a couple of others. Those are not available on reseller at this time.
Okay, so I scrolled back up into the chat to the questions that were answered in the beginning of the webinar, and I'm reading through some of the ones that we didn't answer. So there's one from Mike that says, the opt-in page states 50 gigabytes for storage on Essentials and Premium. Is it actually 1 terabyte? Kelsey?
Sorry. Yes. Oh, wait. Is that the online storage question? I think I saw.
So yeah, this is a bit confusing even on GoDaddy's site, but it does say on GoDaddy's site it's 50 gigabytes storage for email, contacts, and calendar, I think. And then in another area it says 1 terabyte for online storage.
Correct. That's online storage, but that's Microsoft's online storage, and I know there's a workspace online storage, but I don't know if that's sold through resellers, Chelsea. Okay. I wasn't sure about that question if that person's still on it. So to be clear, for the Microsoft products, there is 1 terabyte of online storage for your customers to put documents in. And that will be available with the Office SKUs. So that would be Online Essentials and Business Premium.
Perfect. Okay. Yes, that is like 1 terabyte with OneDrive.
Correct.
And 50 gigabytes is for the actual email, contacts, things like that. Correct.
Cool. All right.
And Alexa, just so you know, I know I do have an answer for the reseller who asked about Microsoft Access. It is included in only the Business Premium offering, or the highest tier, just for that person.
Cool. Thanks for getting back to that that answer. We have another question. Will the plans be available for monthly subscription, or is it going to be only annual as with the workspace email? So as far as I know, and Chelsea, you can, or Kelsey, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but monthly and yearly subscriptions are both available.
Correct.
Scrolling through, let's see. Are there any other questions? And thanks for all these amazing questions, you guys. Keeping us on our toes here. We have 3 minutes left, so I'm going to try and squeeze.
And I know there's some folks posting about the opt-in button is spinning. We are working on that right now. We had hoped to have it where you could opt in at the end of our webinar here. We are doing some updates on our servers to make that available. Will be available soon, but certainly if you want to check back by tomorrow, you'll be able to opt in.
All right, so here's a couple questions around Workspace. I'm assuming that if a client already has a Workspace email on their domain name, they could not use the same domain on Office 365. They would have to first remove all of the domain from the Workspace. I think that's more of
Kelsey, is that something you can answer? I'd have like the same assumption, but
yeah.
Sorry, the question was if you can remove the domain.
Yeah, they're assuming that if a client already has Workspace email on their domain name, they could not use the same domain on Office.
Oh, no. Yeah, of course they could. Yeah.
so it's the same MX.
It's just they wouldn't be using Workspace though. Is you can use the same domain. It's just now they're pointing the MX to the Microsoft 365. Yeah.
Okay. If a client has a Workspace email, which is paid annually, and they opt to switch to Office 365, will they get a credit for the remainder of their Workspace term?
So that is kind of goes into some gray territory there, because if they are switching to Office 365, when they switch, it means that there is no like migration between them. So it's like they're switching and it's like a brand new email through Microsoft 365. For canceling Workspace, I believe that they do get unused terms back. Kelsey, do you happen to know that?
If you cancel, yes, I believe you do get that back. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, cool. So thanks for answering all of the questions, Chelsea and Kelsey. We still have questions coming through. So I'm gonna save the chat. I'm going to save the Q&A section, and then we'll try and get answers to all of these compiled and then post them into either community or the resource portal. But we do have to wrap up for today. So thanks so much for joining, and thanks again to all of our presenters for coming on and giving us this great information. If you have any questions that didn't get answered and you're burning to get the answers, feel free to post in the community. Like I said, Andy monitors that, and he'll shoot over the questions to all of the people that were on the webinar so we can get them answered. So thanks again, and have a great rest of your day.